Well, welcome everyone to the Savvy Sales Lady Live. Thank you for joining me. I don't usually go live on Mondays, but I had something that happened this morning that I really felt compelled to do a live today because it was still fresh in my mind. So this morning I had two sales women that booked a power session with me from last week. They booked last week. Both of them were scheduled for today. And both of them had almost the exact same story, which is why I felt compelled to come out and talk about this on the Savvy Sales Lady Live. Why is this important? Because they both read to me their company scripts that was given to them, and oh my gosh, were they lousy, totally lousy. And they were frustrated because both of them expressed a deep level of frustration because they became leery of even getting on the phone. They developed call reluctance because they were getting nowhere with these scripts. I can't tell you how often I hear this story. I review company scripts all the time, and I end up rewriting the scripts for the salespeople who end up going on and having much greater success with my scripts. Why? Because the way that both of these scripts, I'll just give you an example for today. The two ladies that came to me today, both of the scripts started with, "How are you?" All right. That's sales 101. You You never ask someone that doesn't know you, doesn't know your product, doesn't know anything about your company. You don't start with, "How are you?" All right? In one script, she was told to ask for a meeting right away. Like within the first couple of sentences of excuse me, of the cold call, she was asked to set an appointment right away. Well, no one's going to do that because they don't know you. They don't even trust you. They don't even know if you can provide value, or you don't even know if they're a fit for your product or service. So why would you automatically schedule an appointment just because they fit into a prospecting list? You have to qualify prospects. Just because they might be in your industry doesn't make them a good fit for your product or service. So that was the first thing that just screamed out to me when I was reviewing this one lady's script. You're asking for an appointment way too soon in the conversation. The other one, the other script, moved right into asking for an appointment after she explained the product and service. But in both of these scripts, none of the script even had them asking questions. They're both in the same industry. And like I said, they booked a power coaching session with me last week, and they were both held this morning, and they both resemble the same troubling script. Asking for the next step way too early, not asking any questions at all. So, what should you be doing? Your call goal is, hold on. Sorry about that. Had to take a drink of water. Your call goal is three things. And I did a video about this, a short video about this. And I can't remember if it posted Sunday or today, but your call goal should only be three things. Is the prospect a fit? Yes or no? Does the prospect have an interest in your product or service? And if they do, schedule the next step. Too often I see in my coaching business that people ask too soon for the sale. They're trying to get to the finish line before they even determine if the prospect is a fit, has interest for the next step. So in cold calling, in any kind of sales conversation, you have to be very measured and patient as you're talking to that prospect. You absolutely have to ask more questions than making statements. So that's the other problem that I see with these company produced scripts. They're all scripts designed to talk at the prospect instead of asking questions in order to learn more about the prospect's needs, interest, and if there is really a fit. Scrap the company script, and you're going to structure your script in three different sections. Your call opener, which don't ever use a call opener where you're not proud of who you work for and what you do. Let them know who you are, who you work for, and a real quick one-liner about what you do. I help salespeople and sales teams increase their sales through cold calling and email lists. I had this other person's script in mind that I helped her write this morning, so I was getting a little confused. So here's my call opener. Hi, Mary. This is Christine Harrington with the Savvy Sales Lady coaching firm. I help businesses just like yours increase sales through cold calling and email. Have you ever worked with a sales coach before? Okay. Real easy. Real easy. I don't ask, how is she? I don't ask, is this the right time to call? You can, however, ask, is this a bad time to talk? Not, is this the right time to talk? Or do you have a few minutes? But is this a bad time to talk? Because they'll automatically say no, no, because people automatically say no, no, I can talk for a few minutes. Okay. There is some value in asking that question, but I prefer to go right into, have you ever worked with a sales coach before? So I'll say my call opener again. Hi, Mary. This is Christine Harrington with the Savvy Sales Lady coaching and training firm. I help businesses like yours increase sales through cold calling and email. Have you ever worked with a sales coach before? That was much smoother, wasn't it? So that's why you have to practice, practice, practice before you pick up that phone. I hadn't practiced before I started doing this live, and there's so much value in practicing so that you're not fumbling over your words, right? I always talk about practice, practice, practice. All right. So these two ladies that booked the power coaching session with me, they could not believe how simplified calling can be. It can be so simple. And if you have call reluctance and if you have fear around, well, I don't know if I know the product enough to be able to answer questions, it is fine to tell a prospect, you know, I'm just learning this. Fine to say that. I'm just learning this. However, I will find out that answer and get back to you. Or when I was in corporate insurance sales, and I had been in corporate insurance sales for 40 plus years, sometimes I'd get a question that tripped me up, and I would just say, that's a really good question. Let me get you a clear answer on that, and I'll get back to you. No one expects you to know every little thing about the product or service that you're selling, even if it's basic, because products and services, maybe you're in the same industry, can be wildly different. So there's no shame in doing that. All right. I meant to say in the beginning, if you have any questions or comments, would you put them in the comment section? I'd be happy to answer your questions and comments while we're live. And I want to make sure that you join me Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, because I'm going to be covering frustration when it comes to selling, because there's a whole lot of people I talk to that are very frustrated with in today's market. And I get it. I really do. So that's tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. But if you would like to dive deeper and me helping you craft a really good cold calling script, I'd be happy to do that. Just book a coaching power session, and the link is in the comment below. All right. So I've got testimonials of people telling everyone that wants to read them how good and how easy it is to work with me, and how I help them craft their perfect cold calling script. That takes longer than one session, but I'm happy to work with you and do that with you in a coaching power session. So that's really the message I wanted to bring to you today. Is I wanted to tell you about the two ladies that booked a power session with me, what I saw in those lousy company scripts that they were given. And you're not alone. It's not you. It is definitely not you. And we can work together and get you a good script that you can use, that you won't sound salesy or pushy or any of that. I don't believe in any of that. But there's a natural conversation flow that you should use and you should know when it comes to having a cold call or whether it comes to having a sales conversation. Okay. Now, I see people are viewing, but I don't see any comments. I'm happy to answer your questions and your comments. Just remember, when you pick up that phone to cold call, that person on the other end doesn't know you, has never heard of your company, probably, doesn't know anything about your product or service. So you have to lead them down a path so that they are interested in hearing about what you have to offer. Remember, your call goal is this. Number one, is the prospect a fit? That's your first call goal. Number two, does that prospect have an interest? And number three, schedule the next step, not try to close the sale. All right, everyone. I will see you Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And if you would like to book a power session that you and I can meet and work together, it's in the link. The link is in the comment below, in the comment section below. And I'll also put it in the description area of this video if you're watching on YouTube. Okay? All right. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stay savvy.